At 27, Arov looked successful on paper. Decent job, apartment in the city, friends who tagged him in photos that made everything seem perfect. But every night, when the lights were off and the world went silent, his mind did the opposite. It got louder. You're behind. You're not good enough. They're moving faster than you. You should be doing more. What if you fail? His thoughts weren't whispers. They were a courtroom. And he was always on trial. One evening, after another exhausting day of trying to keep up, Arav sat in his parked car outside his apartment. Engine off, hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. He didn't feel tired because of work. He felt tired because of thinking. Have you ever felt that way? Like your body is fine, but your mind weighs 1,000 pounds. That night, Arav didn't go upstairs. He drove instead. No destination. Just away. He ended up at an old hilltop overlooking the city. It was a place he hadn't visited since college. Back then, he'd go there with big dreams and chit coffee, talking about changing the world. Now he sat alone, staring at the skyline. He closed his eyes. And the noise started again. You wasted time. You chose the wrong path. You're not as talented as them. You're falling behind. For the first time, he didn't argue with the thoughts. He didn't try to silence them. He just listened. And then something strange happened. He realized none of those thoughts were actually his. They were echoes of comparison, echoes of social media, echoes of expectations from family, echoes of one failure from 3 years ago that he never forgave himself for. They were old voices, recycled fears, borrowed pressure, but he treated them like truth, sitting there under the dark sky. Arav remembered something his grandfather once told him when he was a child learning archery. You cannot hit the target, his grandfather said, if your hands shake, and your hands shake when your mind is full. Back then, he didn't understand it. Now he did. His mind wasn't tired because he was incapable. It was tired because it was cluttered with regrets about the past, cluttered with fear about the future, cluttered with other people's definitions of success. And here's the shift. The moment everything changed, Arav asked himself a simple question. If I emptied my mind of everything that doesn't truly belong to me, what would remain at first? There was silence, then something softer surfaced, curiosity, a quiet desire to build something of his own, not to impress, not to compete, but to express. He realized he didn't hate his life. He hated the constant mental commentary about his life. So he made a decision that night, not to quit his job, not to move to another city, not to reinvent himself overnight. He decided to empty his mind. The next morning, he woke up and did something radical. He didn't touch his phone for the first hour. No notifications. No scrolling. No comparison. Just a notebook. He wrote down every single thought racing through his head, all the fears, all the doubts, all the pressure, page after page. When he finished, he looked at the mess of words and realized something powerful. Thoughts look enormous in your head, but on paper, they shrink. That became his ritual. Every morning, empty the mind. He started meditating for 5 minutes. Not to become a monk, just to watch his thoughts without chasing them. He stopped arguing with every negative idea. Instead, he'd ask, is this useful? If the answer was no, he let it pass. Slowly, something incredible happened. The noise started fading. And in the quiet, he could finally hear his own voice. That voice told him to start the project he'd been postponing for years. A small design studio he always dreamed of building. Before, his mind would scream, what if it fails? Now the quiet voice asked, what if it grows? Before, he saw risk. Now, he saw possibility. Within months, Arav wasn't a different person. He was a clearer person. He still had challenges, clients canceled, ideas flopped, money felt tight. But his mind was no longer his enemy. When fear showed up, he didn't panic. He made space. When doubt appeared, he examined it instead of obeying it. And here's the truth most people never realize. Your mind is a powerful servant, but a terrible master. If you let every thought control you, you will live in reaction mode forever. But when you empty your mind, when you create space, you gain power. Power to choose your response. Power to choose your direction. Power to choose your identity. 2 years later, Arav returned to that same hilltop. The city lights hadn't changed. But he had. He no longer measured himself against timelines created by strangers. He no longer replayed old mistakes like a broken soundtrack. He understood something most people in their 20s and 30s struggle to grasp. You don't need more motivation. You need less mental clutter. You don't need to become someone else. You need to remove what you are not. Empty your mind of comparison. Empty your mind of outdated stories. Empty your mind of the belief that you're late. Because you are not late. You are just overloaded. And when you finally clear the noise, you'll notice something beautiful. The direction you've been searching for has been whispering to you all along. So tonight, when the world quiets down and your thoughts start getting loud, don't run from them. Sit with them. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow? Or is it just adding weight? And if it's just weight, let it go. Empty your mind. Not because you have nothing to think about, but because your life deserves clarity more than chaos. And maybe, just maybe, the person you're meant to become is waiting on the other side of silence.